Nurse was recently released on Netflix and stars Jessica Chastain and Eddie Redmayne. And it's based on the true story of Charlie Cohen, suspicious that her colleague is responsible for a series of mysterious patient deaths. The nurse, played by Jessica Chastain, risks her own life to uncover the truth in this gripping thriller. My mom brought this movie to my attention. She said she recommended it for me to watch, and I will give credit where credit is due. It is not your typical Netflix movie. That's not to say that there's problems with this movie, because there are major problems with this movie, but it's not your typical Netflix movie in the way that Netflix is trying to attract views and are just making something that's easily monetizable and very mainstream. This is a very different Netflix movie. It's a very slow moving movie. It's one of those movies that you don't see major studios put out anymore, because it's almost as if they don't have any faith in it, because a major studio knows that if they bought the rights to this movie and if they made this movie, it would probably be a box office bomb and it wouldn't make any money. It wouldn't make its money back and wouldn't recoup that budget. So studios tend to stay away from movies like this, and I'm actually really surprised that Netflix actually took a chance on this, because it is fairly solid. And as I said, it's not perfect. I have a lot of issues with this movie. The Good Nurse features a lot of wooden, stilted dialogue, especially from supporting characters. There's a lot of medical, procedural dialogue and jargon that gets thrown into the fray, and it just feels so cliche, and just it doesn't feel natural coming from the actors as it would from any medical professional, I guess. And there's quite a bit of this film that had me questioning the realism of the actual situation. I guess it's because I understand that with movies like this, things that are based on true stories, video game adaptations, book adaptations, whatever it may be, you have to take artistic licenses and change some things around so that it fits into a screenplay better and into a visual aid like a movie better. But parts of the story felt a bit too far-fetched for me. Look, I'm no medical expert, I'm no medical examiner, I'm no doctor, I am no nurse practitioner, so I could be wrong, but I really don't know if there's things in this movie that really happen in real life. Like, these nurses are under contract from like what seems like this big other company. Like, there's this dude with glasses, clean cut, slicked back hair, who's just like, you can't say this because it's in your contract. I'm like, okay, this dude's a total nerd. He is the biggest nerd ever. Wait a minute. I'm a nerd. I wear glasses sometimes. I just kind of describe myself. There's this other person too who's like his partner, and I just didn't buy them. I didn't really see the need for them in this movie. I couldn't figure out like who they were as people, and I just said, this seems a little odd to me. That seems a little out there, so I'm not really buying that aspect. I don't know. Like I said, that could actually work in real life. I'm no medical professional, so you correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. The movie is sticking with me though for the performances of both Jessica Chastain and Eddie Redmayne. Eddie Redmayne was born to play awkward and weird. I mean, he plays awkward and weird in Fantastic Beasts. Not the sequels. Do not count. Those are not movies. I'm sorry. Those are a series of unfortunate events. I thought Jessica Chastain's character was actually really relatable for the first half of this movie. She's struggling. She's trying to make meets end. She's trying to be a good mother to her kids and trying to pay all of her bills on time. It's like I went through some of that stuff, and I went through some of that stuff as a child with my mother, who struggled to make meets end a little bit as well. So I found it a little bit relatable. I just felt like a lot of that character development in the second half of the movie went away because she was collaborating with the police on her suspicions on Eddie Redmayne, who's just a fucking psychopath in this movie. He's so weird. His performance is so subtle. It's so haunting, and I don't know what it is. Maybe with these medical procedurals and, dramas that take place in hospitals just make the setting a lot more creepy and eerie and chilling. It makes me never want to step foot in the hospital again, and I think it's because people die in hospitals. And another point on Jessica Chastain's character, there were always moments in this movie, even with the things that she was struggling with in the first half, like trying to make meets end, trying to support her kids as well, even when she was suspecting Eddie Redmayne as this serial killer, she always seemed like she was on the edge of a nervous breakdown. So I love how the movie rode that line, and I love how with Eddie Redmayne's character, you actually never see him kill anybody. It's more subtle in its approach to how that subject matter is handled, and I actually thought that that was done fairly well. To go along with that chilling tone and setting of like this hospital that just induces death on me, I guess, that it just induces fear and death. Anytime I look at a hospital now, the musical score was really chilling. It fit exactly what this movie was going for in the tone of this movie and that chilling eeriness, and it just added to all of that too. So maybe it was the musical score that makes me never want to go into a hospital again, or maybe it's just the setting. I have no idea. The movie is a solid movie for all those reasons. I just wish that the dialogue was cleaned up a little bit. I wish it didn't feel as wooden, and I just felt that some aspects of the movie were a bit far fetched, and some supporting characters just felt like they were cartoony. You know, like some of those supporting characters that I mentioned. I don't know if that's how they operate in real life. I will say The Good Nurse is worth watching with a little more than half a bucket of popcorn. I'm not gonna say it's a good time. I enjoyed watching it, but you know, it's a solid enough movie where if you have 2 hours to kill, watch people give some good performances and have this subtle, eerie, creepy drama about a serial killer killing patients in a hospital. It's fine, you know, it works. It's a different Netflix movie, and I appreciate Netflix for putting out an actual solid drama like this instead of their typical mainstream action movie that they're just doing to get monetization and views. Ugh. So if you have seen The Good Nurse, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies someday.